And welcome to the Wing Podcast, where ain't no thing but the wing.
We're a resource for entrepreneurs and small businesses. This podcast is not edited, uncut, and legit. We are asking the questions you have been too afraid to ask.
Today's episode is sponsored by Oxygen. You cannot live without it. For your co-hosts, I'm Chris Rowe.
And I'm Rachael Dowling.
Let's get started here with our introductions. Again, I'm Chris Rowe. A little bit about me was I've been in marketing and web design for about 16 years. Rachael and I started City 360 to help fellow entrepreneurs, small to medium businesses with their branding, marketing, and overall business needs. We do everything from consulting, sales, web design, graphic design, you name it, you get a business. And we do that. Our motto is community over competition. We kind of stole that one from the Rising Tide Society. Shout out to the Rising Tide. And then a little bit more about me is I'll give you my favorite wing sauce is stinging honey garlic. It's always my go-to. And one more thing about myself before I turn it over to Rachael here is I'll tell you a little bit about my why. The reason why I do this podcast is I've been trying to be an entrepreneur for, more than a decade. And it's not the easiest road to travel. So in January, we started City 360, partnered up, Rachael and I. So that is one major reason why we started this podcast, so that we can help out other fellow entrepreneurs. And I want to leave a lasting legacy for my family and my son. So without further ado, let's give it back to Rachael.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. I'm Rachael Dowling, and my background is in photography and video work. I've been doing that for about 12 years now, and met Chris through the Rising Tide Society, which is how our businesses came together. So we definitely have a passion for building that community over competition, and we want to bring that to a national level now with the podcast. So I'm really excited about this. My favorite wing sauce. I don't know. I switch it up every time. You got to be unique. But I feel like my go-to favorite wing sauce right now is a Jack Daniel's. And it's amazing. Finger licking good. Without the, dude on the bucket. All right. And then my why for being here, definitely echoing Chris with we want to bring just real life to entrepreneurs all around the globe. But there's so many questions that I never asked as an entrepreneur when I started my business because I was too afraid, and I thought I would be considered stupid if I asked them out loud. So I really want to bring all those questions to the forefront of everybody's mind. And my big why I'm doing this is for my family. I would love to travel with my family someday, my husband, and we've got 4 awesome kids. So I want to show them that there's more to the world than just America, that people live differently than we do, and that's okay. So that's my big why.
All right. To kind of go over why we're called the wing, we'll just say some people say it's because we have an addiction to chicken wings.
A really healthy addiction, if I could say that.
Others say that we are ready to take anybody under our wing. So that kind of sums it all up in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
So going over kind of, it's again, to reiterate, it's a resource for small businesses and entrepreneurs. We're here asking the questions or actually answering the questions and asking the questions that they're all too afraid to ask. We'll be bringing in different experts, interviewing them throughout the podcast episodes. We also will be doing pop-up episodes of random topics that we feel need to be covered at any given point. We're going to be breaking down each month with different topics and going from there.
Cool. So if you'd like to be a sponsor for an episode, you should send us an email at hello@thewingpodcast.com. We'd also love it if you could get social with us. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all the platforms at The Wing Podcast.
Also, if you have an idea for an upcoming podcast, feel free to also email us. The email again is hello@thewingpodcast.com. Any questions you may want us to answer on a upcoming podcast, or if you have an idea for a podcast and you'd like to hop on a podcast with us, feel free to let us know. Again, hello@thewingpodcast.com. No spaces, no dashes, straight through hello@thewingpodcast.com. And then if you're wondering how you snagged this episode for our introduction, well, we're going to be all over most awesome podcast platforms that are out there. Literally, the list is like 16 of them long. So if there's one that you'd like to listen to, I'm sure we're going to be on there. We'll be on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher. Of course, our website, thewingpodcast.com. You can always go there to get to any links to those platforms or listen to our podcast there too. And thank you very much for listening.